Hey guys, welcome to another episode in the deep playthrough of AC Unity, the epilogue section, reading up and catching up on all the database items. Already did all the people section, location section. We are now mopping up miscellaneous events we did in the previous episode. Currently we are going through items, a lot of reading, so let's dive into it. Cartouche memoir. The manuscript is in very poor condition. Many pages are missing or illegible. However, it is possible to make out some paragraphs. Born into squalor, I have lived a life of debauchery, depredation and crime. It has been glorious. My youth was the usual series of petty thefts lived by all my companions in the northern reaches of Paris. At the age of 15, things took an unusual turn during the burglary of a charming mansion. 2 pages are scorched beyond readability. Lest you assume that Mademoiselle Diane played the knowing temptress Delilah to my innocent Samson. No, I seized upon all temptations as a matter of honor. This particular one was simply more delightful than any I had known. Mademoiselle Diane instructed me in the arts of pleasure. You are by no means handsome, she told me severely. Therefore, your weapon must be charm. Use it in abundance. Like wine, no one ever believes they have imbibed too much. My craggy scar and smashed nose, heretofore regarded as defects, became features that marked me apart. A crooked smile and engaging manner carried me much further than many a more well-formed swain. What is swain again? 1 second. I think it's like appearance or... A younger lover or suitor, a country of youth. Alright, was not expecting that. I thought it was like expression, facial expression or something. Alright, a gentle witticism can gain entry to unimagined blah blah blah. Several sentences are smudged with ash. She taught me also how to extract the fruit of an orange from within by way of a small slice to its covering. This skill proved to be of astonishing use. In fact, the priest banned me from the confessional. The details of my sins were too licentious for his shell pink ears. What the hell is shell pink? God damn it, so annoying. Why all these difficult terms? Ah, it's actually a color, I think. So probably the pinkish color, a light yellowish pink. And licentious is, I think, like sexual escapades or stuff. Promiscuous and unprincipled in sexual matters. Alright. 1 moment. I'm just quickly seeing what it is. Alright. I was consigned to sin and sinned again and again, without hope of redemption. Here a number of pages are too stained and torn to be read. We cornered the carriage on the road to Arras, 3 dukes smoking within, 3 dukes foolish enough to carry far too much silver and finery. Such a large bounty was not to be hoarded. The nobles continued their journey on foot in their underclothes, while we shared and spent their riches among the villagers and thus made allies along the routes. Allies that were to prove useful throughout my life. Here the bulk of the manuscript appears to have been simply lost. It recommences in the midst of Cartouche's famous public execution. Searched the wild crowd for familiar faces, and you can be sure there were some. Creased into their futures, a mixed reaction to my plight and humiliation. For dear reader, the human creature is given to many emotions, all contending for expression at the same instant. Indeed, it is rare that a simple emotion reigns in a human heart, and there in those faces of many I had helped in times of need, many who had thieved and briganded at my side, I discerned two humors vying for supremacy. The first, an anxious desire to help me and relieve me of my distress, perhaps even to lift my punishment for me. However, the other emotion detected was of a darker hue, the desire to see a man torn to shreds, the desire for blood, pain and death. Even friends can lament one's loss and still revel in the gory spectacle. Such is the human animal. This section of the memoir breaks off here. Yeah, I find it totally repulsive. I don't think everybody is like that. Maybe sickos are like that. But anyways, how can he have read these memoirs if he was executed? Cartouche memoir. How can he have written about his time on the gallows, how he experienced the crowds looking at him, when he will have died like shortly thereafter? When did he write these? No idea. Cartouche Memoir 2, a second section. The story seems to pick up mid-tale. In the event, I was searching for one face only. Surely she would wish me safe journey to death, even if it meant leaving the bed of another a few minutes early. Alas, I saw neither her raven ringlets nor her flashing eyes. I was roughly hauled onto the scaffold, the great wheel. The instrument built to inflict unimagined pain as a prelude to bloody death stood before me. It's crazy, that wheel. It appeared somehow too small for such a mortal purpose. The executioner pushed me against the rough hewn logs and lashed leather straps. Hewn to you. What the hell is that? Why are all these words so annoying? Alright, that is like... chop or cut with an axe, pick or other tool. Alright, and there was another one I also was curious about. Maybe ringlets. What the hell is a ringlet? It's just like a small ring, right? A lock of hair hanging in a corkscrew-shaped curl. A brown butterfly with wings bearing eye spots. Alright. It's hair. 1 second. Yeah, I do think it also means a small ring. But in this context, raven ringlets, nor her flashing eyes, it really refers to her futures, so probably her hair. And lashed leather straps. He pushed me against the rough hewn logs and lashed. What the hell is lashed? God damn it! Lashed. Meaning. I know what lashing means, but what is a lashed strap? Having eyelashes of a specified kind. To hit. To criticize. The executioner pushed me against and lashed. He lashed it around. Alright, now I understand. He pushed me against the rough hewn logs and lashed leather straps worn ragged by scores of damned souls before me about my wrists and feet. Yeah, so it's like to put around, swing around those straps. At this moment he took an extraordinary action. He blocked the crowd's view with his stout body and in a thrice shoved a wet, bulbous bag between my back and the wheel. What? I managed. What the hell is a thrice? God damn it. This is more like dictionary time than reading through it. 3 times. Yeah, he shoves one back between his the wheel and his body. I know that thrice means 3 times, but it doesn't make sense. In a thrice. In a threefold manner or degree, or to a high degree, or whatever. And in a thrice shoved. How can you shove 3 times one back between his back and the wheel? I have no idea. He glanced at me and spat through his teeth. Pig's bladder filled with blood. He then looked to the crowds. I followed his gaze, not daring to hope, but there, it was she. He was looking towards Mireille. Oh, what a tide of emotion crossed upon my beaten soul in that moment. My beloved Mireille had come to rescue me, but at the price, this I could not doubt, of having yielded to the lusts of the brutish executioner. The man who looked me in the eyes and shoved a much smaller bladder into my mouth. Bite when it's time. And now I also understand how he was able to write these memoirs. Then he raised his hands to quiet the crowd, then threw his massive weight onto the lever. The wheel gave an ancient groan as if awakening. My arms, legs and spine pulled up taut, even while the straps cut into my flesh. Taut. What the hell is taut? Oh my god. Stretch or pull tight, not slack. Alright, I was thinking that, but then it doesn't make sense. My legs and spine pulled up taut, so were stretched, even while the straps cut into my flesh. Yeah, that's not even. That is, wow. Because it makes sense that the straps cut into his flesh if everything is stretched out. The crowds erupted in delight and horror. The length of my body, a skein of pain. What the? Oh man, if everything of these entries will be like this, I'm gonna be crazy. I'm gonna get crazy. Skein. Wild geese, a length of thread or yarn loosely coiled. Doesn't make any sense in this context. Alright, this really annoys me. The way how this is written makes no sense at me at all. Much too convoluted. I understand it's from a different time and they want to convey that time period in the writing itself, but man, this reads like a puzzle. The length of my body, a skein of pain. Skein is literally defined as a loosely coiled length of yarn or thread wound on a reel. Yeah, okay. Is that then figuratively speaking pain, coiled pain? Or it is like the twist or coils of a skein. Yeah, okay. So it's a tangle of pain or something. And otherwise the definition is a flock of wild fowl in flight. Geese or ducks. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense in this context. Such rapture flowed through the assembled masses. Rapture. What has rapture has to... Rapture is like rupture or like... Oh. According to some millenarian teaching, transports a believer from earth to heaven at the second coming of Christ. An expression or manifestation of ecstasy or passion. A state of being carried away by overwhelming emotion. A mystical experience in which the spirit is exalted to a knowledge of divine things. Alright, one other thing I would like to check out. Difference between mystical and mythical. Just a little learning moment while I'm reading these. Kilo, it's my cat, it's distracting. What's here? Mythical is existing in myth, while mystical is relating to mystics. Yeah. Mystics. What the hell is that then? One with God or the Absolute. Any kind of ecstasy or altered state of consciousness which is given mysticism, a religious or spiritual meaning. Alright, whatever. So we were about the rapture. They shouted for more in crazed desperation. So as such rapture flowed through the assembled masses. They shouted for more in crazed desperation. I tried to physically pull back as if I could by force of muscle and sinew prevent the wheel's dread revolution. As if I could by force of muscle and sinew prevent the wheel's dread revolution. God damn it, what an annoying way of writing this is. Man, this is really the most annoying entry in the whole database. Dread. meaning. Yeah, okay. Apprehension, fear, whatever. But it's dread revolution. That doesn't make sense. It should be dreaded revolution. If the fear is by someone else, then the revolution itself. The revolution itself doesn't have dread, right? The giant pulled with greater force, pulling me into an excruciating stretch. Sweat now beaded my brow, and with yet another pull of the lever began to stream down my chest. The small bladder in my mouth prevented me from screaming. In fact, it was difficult to breathe. Another pull of the lever and I felt the very joints of my shoulders began to pull apart. If this was rescue, it was of a dire sort. I gave into the wheel, no longer attempting to slow its progress, and progress it did. I felt a tendon in my leg spring loose, as if I were a cooked pigeon. Then my upper arm separated from my shoulder with a sickly pop. The effect was perversely to lessen the pain, as now my body had slack in it. But this was short-lived. Again the lever creaked, again the crowd roared, again my muscles stretched near breaking. Surely the bladder must break. I attempted weakly to press my back upon it to speed the deception, but another pull by the oafish torturer ended all thought of making an effort. Oafish. God damn it. Oafish. Rough or clumsy and unintelligent. Alright, where the hell does that come from? Oafish, etymology. Oath. What does that mean? A changeling, a foolish or otherwise defective child, left by the fairies in place. Oath. Oath and elf are likely from the Middle English elven and elven, meaning elf or fairy. Alright, whatever. Learning moment for me. Oafish, never heard of it. He pulled and yes, there, my other shoulder gave way. Oh, what a painful jolt I felt. My two arms freed of all anchor to myself, but this last was enough. The bladder beneath me broke, sending a spurt of red blood down my back and my legs as if my entrails had exploded. The crowd went mad with joy, kept by the delirium they experienced when I chomped into the bladder between my teeth, filling my mouth with thick pig's blood, which I spat out in disgust and fell back in a swoon. I lost all conch. Right, what the hell is swoon? It's probably a fluent motion or something, but it are all annoying words. Faint, especially from extreme emotion. Be overcome with admiration, adoration, or other strong emotion. So the first definition is faint. Faint, literally faint, probably. Alright. I thought it was faint in the sense of weak. And then it wouldn't have made sense. The first definition being faint And the second definition being overcome with admiration or strong emotion. That's really not the same, but so, and fell back in a swoon. Yeah, so because of a strong emotion he fainted a bit. The next pages seem to have been soaked in water sometime in the past. Nothing is legible until the very end. So it was that my apprenticeship began, where I stole and sweated and committed crimes. No longer for myself and my recognition, but rather for an odd pack of scabrous folk, the assassins. Scabrous? What the hell is scabrous? Scabrous. Rough and covered with, or as if with scabs. Indecent, salacious. Alright, never heard of it. Alright, of whom Mireille was the leader. And reader, my labors there must live and die forever in silence. Alright, this is about Cartouche. And that is, I think, a guy that was described somewhere. So he actually didn't die. He became an assassin. Here, Louis Dominique Cartouche. He was locked away in the Châtelet before being broken on the wheel on November 1721. At the Place de Grève, in front of a large crowd eager to see the robber who had for so long defied the police and indirectly the monarchy. Missed out a bit about his years with the Brotherhood. Ah, the crafty coachner broken on the wheel. There's a story in that. Yeah, I do like that. That this actually, if I wouldn't have read this, I just would have thought he would have died. But actually, yeah, he did not. Alright, but I hope not all of these sections are written in this manner, because it's quite hard for me to make a bit of sense of it. Chappe signal towers. In 1794, Claude Chappe developed a new means of communication via a practical system of semaphore relay stations. The relay line consisted of towers spaced between 12 and 25 kilometers apart, each fitted with a telescope. This made it possible to quickly transmit crucial information, and so on September the 1st, 1794, in less than an hour, Parisians were informed of the capture of Comte-sur-le-Claude from the Austrians, 220 kilometers away. Of course, some of the nuances of the message were lost along the way. I imagine by the end they were under the impression that someone had caught a condescending leprechaun in Australia. Oh man, so not funny, those notes. Chartreuse, a French liqueur that has been made by Carthusian monks since 1737. The drink is made to the specification of a secret manuscript and is named after the Grand Chartreuse monastery. It is one of only a few liquors that will improve with age. Chenier poem, The Young Captive. The Young Captive. What is Chenier? No idea. The budding shoot ripens unharmed by the sky. Alright, I'm not gonna look up any term in this poem because it will take 3 hours. Expect a lot of convoluted formulations and wording here. The budding shoot ripens unharmed by the sky, without fear of the press on vine branches light. Through springtide the green clusters bloom. Isn't strange then that I in my life's morning hour through troubles like clouds on the dark present lower, half-frighted shrink back from my doom. Alright, I really hate these kinds of poems. No, I don't find them interesting at all. It's just convoluted mess. Let the stern-hearted stoic run boldly on death. I I weep and I hope to the north wind's chill breath. I bend, then erect is my form. If days there are bitter, there are days also sweet. Enjoyment unmixed, where on earth may we meet? What ocean has never a storm? Illusions the fairest assuage half my pain. The walls of a prison enclose me in vain. The strong wings of hope bear me far, so escapes from the net of the fowler the birds. So darts he through ether while his music is heard. Like showers of sweet sound from a star, comes death unto me, I sleep tranquil and calm, and peace when I waken stands by with her balm. Remorse is the offspring of crimes. My welcome each morning smiles forth in all eyes. My presence is here to sad brows a surprise, which kind kindles to pleasure at times. The end of my journey seemed so far to my view of the elm trees which border the long avenue. My journey. The nearest are only past of the elm trees which border the long avenue. The nearest are only passed by. At the banquet of life I have barely sat down. My lips have but pressed the bright foaming crown of the wine in my cup bubbling high. God damn it, what a mess of words. I am only in spring the harvest I'd see. From season to season like the sun I would be. Intent on completing my round, shining bright in the garden, its honor and queen. As yet but the beams of the morning I've seen. As yet but the beams of the morning I've seen. I wait for eve's stillness profound. O death, thou canst wait, leave me to dream, and strike at the hearts where despair is supreme, and shame hails thy dart as a boon. For me, pales has arbors unknown to the throngs. The world has delights. The muses have songs. I wish not to perish too soon. A prisoner myself, broken-hearted and crushed, from my heart to my lips. All my sympathies rushed, and my lyre from its slumbers awoke. These sorrows, these wishes of a captive I heard. And to rhyme and to measure I married each word, as softly and simple she spoke. Should this song of my prison hereafter inspire some student with leisure her name to inquire, this answer at least may be given, that grace marked her figure, her action, her speech, and such as lived near her. Sorry, my cat is disturbing. That grace marked her figure, her action, her speech, and such as lived near her blameless might teach. That life is the best gift of heaven. Translated by Toru Dudes, 19th century. Alright, literally, if you find this fun, or I don't understand, this is just a garbled of words. I can do this myself. I can write a poem like this. It's not that hard. Just coming up with garbled verbs and just mixing up the order of words in a sentence. Is this an actual real thing? One moment. Cherry poem. A French poet of Greek and Franco-Levantine origin, associated with the events of the French Revolution of which he was a victim. His sensual, emotive poetry marks him as one of the precursors of the Romantic movement. Alright, he was only 32. Now, he's apparently a famous poet. Generally considered the greatest French poet of the 18th century. Alright, now I will wholeheartedly disagree with that. Yeah, maybe in that time, if you know the words and if you know this kinds of weird grammar, but, and I'm not saying that everything should be like regular modern day formulation and stuff, but yeah, or maybe I'm just not in the mood for it, but this is really not my thing. Alright, how long do we still have? 3 minutes. A cockade, a circle of ribbons usually worn on the head. The cockade of the Revolution represented the colors we see today in the French flag. Blue, white and red, sometimes known as a tricolor. The idea of the three-color flag was presented to Louis XVI by Lafayette during their meeting at the Hotel de Ville on July 17, 1789. Next to the blue and red colors of the cockade of Paris, Lafayette had added the white cockade of the monarchy, conferring upon the sovereign a central role in the new definition of power. So it is there was a cockade of Paris which is blue and red. Alright, I thought that blue and red maybe individually also were linked to some kind of a meaning, but apparently not. That is just Paris and white is the monarchy. Note that the king didn't last, but his symbol did. Alright, Lafayette had added the white cockade of the monarchy, conferring upon the sovereign a central role in the new definition of powers. Alright. Guys, I'm gonna end the episode here, almost hitting the 40-minute marker. We'll continue in the next episodes. This took way longer than I expected, especially these two cartouche memoirs. But yeah, it is what it is. It can happen. We'll continue in the next one. I hope to see you there. For the meantime, I hope you enjoyed. For the meantime, do not forget always to keep on gaming. See you later.